Hey, this is Gabby with Juba Forensics PLLC. I wanted to record a video here to talk through with you some of the free PDFs and templates that I have put out there, and I would love for as many people to use these resources as possible. So I'm going to walk through both of those things, the PDF first, then the templates, and just put it out there. And hopefully this will help everybody with anything that they might need, forensic accounting related in a divorce, if you ever need just a foundation, what does that look like? So let me share my screen here and we're gonna do it like this. Also, do not mind my sweet cat here. Her name is Selena Sky, and she's an all-black cat. And every time I turn the camera on, she loves to come up here and be part of whatever it is that I'm doing. So do not mind her. Um, so we're going to start with over here on the left-hand side is the PDF that I have put out there. So I promise you, I'm not going to read this PDF line by line for you because you are more than capable of reading it yourself. So why I created this. I created this as a way to help someone going through a divorce if they're not sure if they know where all their assets are located. This is a way to just start to figure that out. Is there something you are unaware of? Is there something you're forgetting? Is there something you're missing? So why is this important? No matter what your situation is, if there's kids, if there's not kids, if you both were equally sharing your financial situation. Maybe you both worked full-time jobs. Maybe only one of you worked a full-time job. Maybe one of you is more heavily involved in the finances than the other. It doesn't matter what the situation is. Same thing with the divorce itself. Doesn't really matter. The fact is you're going through a divorce, and from what I've experienced and what other people have experienced, you on the grand scheme of things, everybody wants it to be the most fair that it can be. But that can be difficult to accomplish as to what is fair. But the best starting point you can have for what is fair is if you and your ex-partner, ex-spouse, whatever it might be, can come to an agreement on what are the assets we are dividing. And one of the best ways you can do that and protect yourself and make sure all of those assets are being included on the list is for you to come to that negotiation with a list of assets. If you are unsure of how many bank accounts you have, how many retirement accounts, how much money is in that pension account that I don't really look at on a regular basis, how can you negotiate what is fair if you don't know what's in there? So that's what this is a starting point for, is starting just to uncover. I'm not saying that your ex is hiding money, has a secret boyfriend or girlfriend that they've been funding with your joint money. I'm not saying any of that. Could that be happening? Absolutely. But that is not every case. So this is just a starting off point to see what do we own jointly, and then you can have those conversations of how do we split that fairly. And sometimes you and your ex can figure that out on your own, how to split that fairly. Other times you might need lawyers involved, you might need mediators involved, you might need a whole bunch of people involved to help you guys figure out. You might need forensic accountants like me to step in and help you figure out where are the assets, what are they, how do we divide them. So I put this out there to help people figure out on their own just a starting point of where things are, what it looks like to get and generate that list. So I'm going to scroll through the PDF quickly and just kind of point out some highlights. Same thing on the template. I do have a whole separate video that dives deeper into the template. Where are the formulas? How do you add things? What do you do on the template? So I'm just going to go over high level stuff in this video. And if you need more clarification, there's one for the template, a whole video for the template. But if you need additional clarification beyond that, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm on LinkedIn. You can reach out here through YouTube or Instagram, my website as well. So I'm more than happy to help. And if I need to tweak some of this, I would love to do that too to make it the most useful thing it can be. So let me scroll through here. I first start off talking through kind of what I just talked about is, do you need to figure out what your financial assets are? Why do you need to figure that out? So we won't go too much further into that. So part of in my mind, the three basic steps you have is to figure out how much money's coming in, how much money goes out on a monthly basis, just that lifestyle. What kind of life do you live? Do you have two brand new cars with car payments and a mortgage and credit card debt, whatever else it might be? Or maybe you guys don't have a lot of expenses and you don't have a lot of income coming in anyway. It could look like a lot of different things. So the first step is to go through the template that I have pulled up over here to the side. The next step is to pull together all of your essential documents based on this template. And from there, you will start investigating any discrepancies you might have, looking for any missing documents, whatever it might be. So I'm going to keep going through the PDF and then we're going to come back to the template. So from here, if we keep scrolling down, I did not go deep into detail in the PDF about the template, but if you scroll down, it will dive deep into kind of investigating the discrepancies. So now that I'm saying this, we are going to move to the template really quick. So the template, basic format here, there are 4 tabs down at the bottom. First one's just kind of a start here. Please make a copy of this template before you start adding information to it. The video goes over how to do that. Then there are 3 other tabs. I also have the YouTube video here linked for this template, so you can grab it right there. For accounts, this is where you're going to list everything that's here. Any account you have, bank accounts, retirement accounts, investment accounts, any joint account that you may have. The next thing you have is your income and expenses. This is on a monthly basis. What kind of income do you have coming in? What kind of expenses are going out? And with the accounts and income and expenses, I want you to data dump from your brain everything you can think of. I want you to put everything down. If you know you've got a water bill, you have the electricity, you have the internet, you have car insurance, you have health insurance, you have whatever other bill it might be, go ahead and add it on here. Same thing with income. If you know you get disability and you get a pension and maybe you have a small salary coming in as well, put it on here. Now, this is not just yours, so I don't want you to just put down your piece of the car insurance and your piece of the health insurance. This is both. This is what is that full expense. Same thing with the income. This is not just your income. If you have a flat salary of $60,000 a year, that's not this. This is your combined income. What do you bring in together? And then from there, what's going to happen is you'll take this list that you generated of your income and your expenses, and you're going to go back to your bank accounts. And you're going to double check that what you have written down matches what's in your bank account. So if your bill, if you think your bill for the internet's $50, but it's actually $52.37, you would look at the bank account, figure that out, adjust it on the spreadsheet. Same thing if you wrote down all your expenses, but you forgot your phone bill and you saw that on the bank account, go ahead and put your phone bill on here. So what this is going to allow you to do is if you have a list of expenses and half of them are not in your bank account, then you know there's other bank accounts you need to go looking for and pull. So that is part of looking for discrepancies, which I have here on this PDF. So once you have compiled your list of income and expenses, compared it to your bank account, you now know what else you have to go looking for. So when I say pull documents as the second piece here, this second part, pulling documents is pulling bank statements, bank transactions, whatever it might be, and putting it onto this spreadsheet, whatever you need to do, saving it somewhere on your computer or printing them out if you prefer. You can even go into your bank if you don't have online access. If your name is on that account, you've got ID, you can absolutely go into the bank and have them print it for you or email it to you, whatever the case. They even might be able to set you up with online access. So know that as well. Even if you are unsure of how to get into the bank account, somebody can help you figure that out. So the next piece here is investigating the discrepancies. So I talked quickly about if half your expenses that you know get paid are not coming out of your main bank account, there's somewhere else you have to go looking for them. That's a discrepancy. Another discrepancy is if you see maybe cash withdrawals coming out of your bank account that you don't know what they're for. Doesn't necessarily mean something is shady or wrong happening. Maybe you forgot that you guys pulled cash out to pay the pet sitter or the babysitter. Can be a lot of different things that you can find that need to be investigated. So that's what this last tab is here. This is a spot for you to write down all of the things that you're not quite sure. Maybe you have two phone bills coming out on a monthly basis and you don't know why. It could be the phone company's messing up your bill, could be something else going on in the background. This is your list of, I'm not sure, but I need to research. So it can be cash withdrawals, it can be transfers between your main bank account and other accounts you're not familiar with. Put all of that on here. I recommend this piece you're doing for a full year because it is possible that the phone bill, maybe they did double charge you in January, but they fixed it in February. And that would be easy to spot, check, and pull. But if you were only looking at January and you saw two phone bills come out and you're going through a nasty divorce, maybe your ex cheated on you, you're going to assume that they were paying that other person's phone bill, but maybe that wasn't the case. So looking at a full year is going to give you a clear picture of any trends. And I go further into detail in the video about the template with how to filter this spreadsheet out, things like that. So that is part of investigating the discrepancies, comparing what you have written down for your accounts, income and expenses, and comparing that to the actual bank accounts that you're pulling. So as I keep going through, so this is essentially what it is that I was just saying, where this next page, what do you do with all of your documents? You're going to review transactions for anything weird, make a list of those transactions, and then go from there. If you need to ask further questions, if you need to pull additional statements, whatever it might be, go ahead and get that information. So the next piece I have on this template is, when do you need to hire a forensic accountant? So I will say I will do a whole separate video on forensic accounting in general, what that is, what that can look like, not just for divorce cases, but across the board. So for this specific PDF and template guide, if you're following the PDF and the template, at what point do you contact somebody? At what point do you say, I don't know what is happening, but it looks weird? So I will say some of it, if you have a great intuition, you might know when that point hits that you need outside help. Otherwise, if you are extremely overwhelmed by the process, you can get help. So I will say Juba Forensics PLLC was designed not only to create content like this to give out to people, but it was also designed to help with this process. So you don't necessarily have to hire me to do the whole thing for you. Because if you don't have a lot of money, not that my prices are ridiculous, I'm not going to charge you $50,000 to look at your stuff. But if things are tight, you may not want to spend that kind of money, any kind of money, to have somebody do this for you. When you can do some of it, you maybe just need some guidance. So one of the services I provide is to help you through the process with minimal fees. So I won't be doing the work for you, but if you get stuck at any point in this process, you can call me and I can guide you through, okay, where are you at? This is where we're trying to get to. Here's what you need to do to get there. And if you would like to, you can also hire me to do this from the beginning. So at what point do you actually need to hire someone, though? I will say, if you're really stuck and you're really overwhelmed and you're at that point where you are ready to just give up, throw in the towel and say, screw it, they can have all the money. Please do not do that. Please call and let me help you finish this template. So at least you have a starting point for your negotiations. Something else, if you are looking at this, maybe you have a list of transactions here on the template, a bunch of different bank accounts you've never even heard of or seen before, a bunch of weird cash withdrawals, and maybe your ex is being weird or sketchy and isn't answering you with what all that is and isn't providing any statements that you're asking for. That is something where you might need legal representation. I'm not a lawyer, so you cannot hire me to be your legal representation, but I can work with you and your legal representation to basically take this template and write it into an official report and force that through the legal system to make that X comply and give the statements that are required and needed to determine marital assets. So I would say those are two definite points where you should contact somebody if you are extremely stuck and ready to give up. And if you see a bunch of weird things that you can't get an explanation for, it is better to have me type it up to give to a legal team than it is to just say, here's this free template I found online and I filled out, kind of. They're going to want that professional to fill it out in a report form and give it to the lawyer's legal system. So those are two big points. But at any point, if you look at this template, look at this PDF and go, I cannot, numbers are not my thing, and I want to hire someone. I don't care, even if you don't find anything, I want to hire somebody. We, I will be more than happy to help you as well, and so will many other forensic accountants. So, moving on to the last piece here, I do want to highlight I will be having a lot of free content, not only about the finances in general, finances and divorce, forensic accounting, but part of it is divorces are not easy. Divorces, most of the time, are not straightforward. Feelings are involved, emotions, people are very upset. Even if you think it's a nice, easy, like amicable divorce, and all of a sudden you start talking about money, sometimes things get really nasty really fast. So I want you to know that money is always kind of a touchy subject. I don't know, we don't really like to talk about money so much, but it can be even more difficult to talk about money when something like a divorce is happening. So I say all that to say I plan on providing more content about how to approach some of those conversations, even if it's maybe you're not getting a divorce and you just want to talk to your significant other about finances. I'm going to provide some content with how do you do that without getting emotions really, really ramped up high. But I also will be providing content about some of the emotional piece of going through a divorce. Not that I'm not a therapist by any means. I have gone through therapy. I have gone through a divorce. I've gone through therapy because of my divorce. So, what I want to provide is some of the insights and guidance that I have received and gone through over the years going through that process. So, that is something as well that if that is anything you're interested in, will be on this YouTube channel, Instagram, you name it. So my goal is to give away a lot of really good free content to help people that need it, whether you're going through a divorce or not. And if you ever need some kind of a consult, someone to talk to, I will highlight again, I'm not a lawyer, I am not a therapist, I am a forensic accountant, I am a CPA. So keep that in mind when you contact me. I can do a little bit, but not that much. But if you ever need to consult a forensic accountant, whether that's because of a divorce you're going through or anything else, please feel free to reach out to me. There's lots of different ways to reach out to me. Best way is probably to go through my website. The website has phone number on there, email address, a way to sign up for a free consult, whatever it is you need. I want you to know that it's going to be okay no matter what you're going through, divorced, not divorced, money tight, money's not tight, whatever it might be. It's going to get better on the other side of whatever it is you might be going through. And I am here to help in any way that I can.